Hello, can you hear me? I hope that this works. I think it does. Let's see, I'm just finishing up the setup here and we'll start in a minute. I think audio is working. Great. Wonderful. So what happened yesterday? What happened in the last stream? We finally we got to, I think was this on Tuesday? I think we fixed some discrepancy in the test data, and so, or maybe it was on Wednesday early on, but on Wednesday we knew, okay, no, it was on Tuesday I think, and then on Wednesday we knew, okay, that means we have to rerun the signature generation and generate a bunch more test data, and we like to have something to verify against in order to with the goal of verifying the hello binary. And we did generate that data, but I went online a second time to show that, to take a look at that data, and the issue that we found was that the debug flag was not set on that generated data, so it didn't have the pre-image of the input hashes, so it didn't have the meaning that we couldn't, like when there were mismatches in the mismatches between the hashes on the signing and verification side, we didn't have the debug code available that I wrote in order to look at these issues efficiently. And I was able to find that issue yesterday. Maybe this is the thing that I'll show you first. I think this is not on main yet, and these two commits were something we were playing with, and this is, no, actually, never mind. I can show you on the machine, I think. Fix how debug flag is set. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So in order to make things more, I have no idea how mocking is supposed to work in Python. My lived experience is that it doesn't, and it's hella annoying. If somebody knows Python, reach out to me. I'm having a bit of trouble with that. But I have this config file where I set a bunch of configurable things. Some of them are useful actually at runtime during regular operation, and other ones are really just for debugging purposes, and I don't know if they'll make it into a command line, into a flag that is exposed on the command line. But I used to have these things in here just as flat values, like debug, allow, input addressing, pre-image index, none of that class business, right? And I had a lot of trouble with mocking somehow. It was just not really working reliably, and I don't know enough about Python actually to really talk about the technical aspects of that, but I introduced this class, and that did help. But it means that some places where I refer to this config, like in the file that processes the debug flag, which is like the most the one thing that should work, right? This wasn't set correctly anymore. I was setting the wrong value there, and so the other side didn't read it, and that sucked. But I think that I resolved that. I did verify that yesterday while it was still generating data, and I think we can attach to the machine here. And to me, it looks like, I think this is still running. I think this went through with the whole generation process again, and we can basically, like, I'm not sure in terms of authentication. Let's see, just log in here, have a pretty full cache, and we have this traces folder, and this has a bunch of stuff. How much stuff, I don't know. We should count it definitely. But let's download this now. The file name is 041025. We have this locally now. Oh, I don't have another window open. Let's open another window then. Maybe also resize it a bit, so I'm not too much in the way. Let's go in here and say move this thing, we're gonna move it to tests, traces, and let's see if we look at this folder, we have this in here now. This is the input data. This is what we got yesterday. Let's just delete all of that. Or should I do that on the command line maybe? Because I think I added it. No, I didn't. Fine. Then we can just delete all of this. And instead we'll take this here. I think yesterday we just had like 150 kilobytes, so this looks like it's significantly more data. I think we're in the clear here. Yesterday at 9. Does this make sense? Okay, this is the old one, right? It was around 150. And this is the new one. Does the timestamp make sense? Yeah, it might make sense that this finished at that time. I can't recall the precise time. Or did we copy the wrong thing? Let's just redo it to be sure. All right. And then I'll so we have this consolidate program which we can use to generate the input data for the PyTest tests, for the tests in PyTest. Let's, yeah, I'm very sure that this just overrides the results, so we should be fine by just saying by resolved input hash, key field is in, I think, and we don't need to allow duplicate keys, because that only happens if we index by name and not by the input hash that we are computing. Fun. Yeah, okay, good. And we can look at that data to make sure, yeah, we've got this in here now. That's great. And we even see that like this field being added is precisely the change that we're seeing compared to the previous version of the file. And yeah, maybe we'll also adapt the script at some point in order to not reformat this, so that we can, if there are any issues that are related to canonicalization, so not with the JSON contents, but actually with the formatting of the JSON, so that we can properly see those in Diffoscope. Because right now, Diffoscope will tell us these things are different on a byte level, and they are, because this consolidate script doesn't make an effort to preserve the spacing. All right, but right now I'm more eager to actually try to get the I'm actually more eager to try to get the tests running and see how far we get in the verification of the hello binary. Maybe we will improve the logging a bit so we have a good signal to noise ratio there, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, there's not. I wanted to check if there's something in the chat. Not really. So if you want to, feel free to just join the laut matrix channel, and I'm taking a look at that. Sometimes Twitch chats should even appear on screen, so that's preferential actually. All right, let me think. Yeah, let's generate the other file that's indexed by derivation name. Will not allow duplicates yet because I want to see the output of this, and we have to put this into the by name folder. All right, there's ambiguous mappings. And we went through those yesterday. Oh, come on, I'm pressing the screenshot button again. And we went through those yesterday already. It's 55 collisions for around 140 files. Let me think. Well, somehow that means almost everything is a collision, right? Almost every one of those derivations is present in the closure in two different incarnations that have the same name. Or at least present in the data that we got from the cache, which represents one run of the build command. This is a bit weird, but like I'm seeing this as something that's most likely related to how the bootstrap works. And I don't think it's something that I have to address ahead of time right now. It's probably better to allow duplicate keys and just output this data for now. And like the effect of all of these duplicates will be that when we actually use those debug tools that try to figure out why we get hash mismatches, when we look up the reference thing to compare against, there will be two candidates, and we will get a diff to both candidates, and one of them is valid and one of them is just named the same thing. And yes, that's a bit painful, but I've never used this tooling in practice yet. I've not used this tooling in enough depth to judge if this is an issue or not. Yeah. Okay, so we generated that data. I'm wondering what branch we should be on. We should probably be on main. We should probably take in that one commit from here, because I think this worked out. So let's push that to the main branch. I cherry picked this from this work in progress branch. And then we can go back. Let's see. So we had reverted this yesterday because we didn't have the data available to actually get the names from the derivation. But this is not as thoroughly tested. So let's maybe go back to let's unrevert this basically and just go by what's in the test data. This we have on remote already. And here we are kind of work in progress wise. So maybe go to main, stash, git reset hard. We want to go to this and git pull rebase to get that one commit, and git stash pop. Okay, and now we have some conflict in the consolidate thing. Yeah, because we got rid of that. Tests. Traces, consolidate. This is probably not a good place to store that file actually. Do I need to git add tests traces consolidate? I think this should get rid of the conflict, right? And we have the signatures in here now. Okay, now let me, since we changed that script by reverting the revert, we should probably quickly or even slowly redo this. Okay, yeah, there's some bug in here where the second path is none, but I think we have the same number of conflicts, right? Yeah, so not a lot's different here. Let's do the other one as well. Good. We have our signature data in place now. We're extra sure of that. And now we will try running those tests. Let's start out on the command line and see what we end up with. Did we have to disable the... I have this inkling that we had to disable... this is not what I want, I think. Is it? Is this just signature data? Yeah, okay. Maybe that's not committed yet. I have this feeling that we disabled... yeah, I know where it was. That in the tests there is test verify. We changed this and we removed a mock that enabled the debugging, mock config debug. Because the debugging wasn't working before because we didn't have the pre-image field in the data, right? So let's see how far we get now. Passed. So we didn't get a mismatch now. And the other thing is that if we grep for final SHA-256, we get all of the hashes of things, so we could, like, how many of those do we get? No, come on. I have to rebind that screenshotting stuff. 91. So we seem to be doing 91 things right. And this is basically now the point in time where we need to actually figure out where we stand, how far we get, I think, and if the debugging is working. Like, let's, in comparison, like previously you would also get an output from previously we would also give an output for the data log program, but I thought that this was confusing because I know that the data is not really accurate, right? I mean, we can re-enable that quickly just to see, but we should probably fix this before we print it actually. It's also like print so we know where the inputs and outputs, where the border is between inputs and outputs. Let's run this again. Bunch of stuff. What is this? Oh man, it's too long. Yeah. Okay. I find it so interesting that less stops at this point. I don't know why that is. but that's how it goes. Derivation resolution. Yeah, here it says we're resolving one thing. And in order to resolve that thing, we had to resolve no, I don't know. Never mind. Let's not give this too much weight. Unresolved dependencies. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this output is useless right now, and it's kind of another rabbit hole, maybe a useful rabbit hole to fix it, but I think we should find better ways to express how far we get here. Like, okay, let's focus on this for a bit. Let's add good debug data and remove or bad debug data or make it less present. So since we have a good mechanism now for actually storing each individual hash pre-image in a file, a lot of what we're going through here is just printing that data, so we should probably get rid of those prints. Probably if we search for that final SHA whatever thing, we'll probably find that. Did I forget how that interface worked? I thought there was a edit, there was like a find in files. Oh, this I don't know why this disappears. Final SHA. And then, yeah, these hook log files are not what I'm interested in. Okay, resolve derivation path, final SHA. Okay, every time we compute a hash, we log this. This JSON for sure we should get rid of, because that's a lot of noise. So let's put that on the info level. Yeah, that exists apparently. Good. Let's call this. We're gonna say derivation path. Is this the resolved one or the unresolved one? Resolves to, we will find that out. So we have one more sensible line now. So this is one possible way to resolve this one derivation. And let's see where this is called. During verification. Here. Yeah, it's the unresolved. Good, so we can actually make this even more specific. By saying unresolved derivation, whatever resolves to whatever. Resolve this to this. That's shorter. I think that's good. And we only have this on the input at the info level. We don't usually print this anymore. Let's see how that changes the output here. Oh, we still get a resolved JSON. because we still have the info one active. So now we should change the log level, I think. How do we best do that? As like probably as part of the tests, right? Or should we where does that option go? Debug. Yeah, probably we need something like this. But I'd probably have to do that in all of the test files. Or I have to have some common infrastructure for it. This did not really help. Okay, so the thing is, I'm kind of torn between two different things that I'd like to do on stream. I'd like to use good, sensible practices on stream, but on the other hand, I also like to get to the point of things and not be bogged and stay with what I actually am trying to do, and not like go down every rabbit hole, because I feel like it probably makes for a very scattered, uninteresting stream. But that's just what I'm believing without having any evidence for it, right? So I don't know, but the way we're gonna deal with this for now is we'll just comment the info part here out, so we get to we get the kind of output that we actually wanted, and then we still have some input data for the hash here. Yeah, this should just go. And again, the magnifying glass somehow went away. Yeah, this is too detailed. Should we have it on the info level? Yeah, let's keep it on the info level. For now. But then again, we have to comment it out. Let's just get rid of it for now. Or for now. Let's right now make the decision to get rid of it. There's more sensible things we can log. Okay, now we're basically left with these hash computations mostly. Here we're still building the tree. So another, if there's a few things that I'm thinking. One of them is we have a number of build steps that we're actually going through, and it would be useful to keep track of that, so we can say, oh, we were able to resolve X out of Y. Because yesterday on stream I already went through and tried to find, I don't know what's wrong with the search bar, but try to find these hashes in the project And I didn't, right? ELRB. So there's something there which I'm not understanding. In this traces data, we don't have ELRB in here. But we're making progress, right? We're computing these hashes. And they are, I think, for sensible stuff. This is a fixed output derivation. Yes. So right now we only see fixed output derivations, maybe. Okay, then if that's the case, then let's go back to the smaller example and see what the last thing we verify in that context is. Okay, now here we get to some failure, right? Some difference with the bootstrap tools. And this was something we could manually investigate. Like we did that on stream already. Ha! Oh, I have an idea. For why this is. And it's a bit annoying for me. Because this is like, I have a suspicion now. And working on these things is kind of like whack-a-mole, because it might seem like I'm always stuck on the most stupid stuff of, oh yeah, your input data doesn't match up. But on the other hand, it's like there are a few pieces in play, and it's really difficult to arrange them in a way where things actually work out. And like there are certain risks that I took there with the choices I made so far, because right now these hashes that I'm computing myself, they are based on the JSON representation of on the JSON representation of derivations. So I'm not actually, like, it's kind of, what I'm doing is kind of a parallel construction next to content address derivations. And I could change that, and it's doable to change that, but conceptually it was easier to deal with JSON at first. And also, like, the differences are I think a bit more, like, I don't know, because I didn't try it on the A-term format, right? But theoretically this distinction can go away, and we can just use the A-term format, and then by definition different implementations of Nix will have the same input hashes, because otherwise they wouldn't be compatible anymore. But I was assuming that the output of Nix derivation show is like stable enough, and then when we had that issue on, we're crashing on at some point post build hook crashes when we generate our test data. I started using licks I started using licks on the builders, but I'm not using licks here, or I'm not using licks when generating the reference data. And maybe this is not stable between Nix and Lix, which makes a degree of sense, and it sounds terrible, but as I said, it's just like the setup we have right now. We can like mitigate this kind of stuff by just switching to what switching to the actual way Nix does derivation hashing. But this is not too bad. Like, we can either run with this assumption now or try to confirm it. I see there's a bunch of people on the stream live now. Hello, welcome, happy to have you here. If you have any questions or wanna, you know, wanna ask something, go ahead. I'm happy to talk to you. All right, let's continue. I think what we're gonna do is just quickly fix the code that generates the test data, because that shouldn't take too much time, and we will see if that gets us somewhere. So we are using this script in order to generate that reference data, and the Nix we're using here, that has to be Lix, I think, and because this will probably be, like, very likely will just be a front end thing. So the quickest way to achieve that is probably something like packages.lix/bin/nix. I know this is not the nicest way to write this, but I just want to try it out. Nix run and see if that changes the test data now. Maybe before we run that, let's do a git diff on exactly that file, just so we know where we are at right now. Because this didn't change, like, this shouldn't change on the test data update, because it's like the trust model independent view that Nix has about the dependency graph. So theoretically it shouldn't really change much. So it hasn't changed since really early in the week. And now let's look at that file again. No, we get the same. What am I doing? I don't see the run command in here anymore. Did I just cancel that? Okay. I just didn't fully realize what exactly I'm doing, apparently. Yeah, haha. So Lix specifies this differently. Fine. That means when we run the tests again, we will stop finding a bunch of things, I think. Or maybe it doesn't make a difference for the small one. Is this just still working? Resolve derivation at stage 0, bin utils wrapper 53J whatever. what were we trying to build? Yeah, this wrapper thing. And if we then, or not build, trying to resolve, if we then go in here, look at the name of this thing. Yeah, I mean, this is working great. And we didn't have a divergence here yet. Cool, cool, cool. Let's continue with the tests. Stage 1 was another thing that we wanted to try. Is this different? Let's see if this works. Yeah, all right, now we have like the actually different hashes in practice, which leads to us not finding the derivation that we're looking for, because those, did the hashes actually change? Because that's interesting also in terms of Nix and Lix maybe diverging, or is it? Key error. Okay, we're looking for this now. Okay. I'm looking for the derivation. Here we go. We have something like this. And I want to see if there's another one, because that's what the comment indicated, right? Oh, we have to look in the correct file here. So this one was B500. Yeah, we're seeing a bunch of different ones actually. How often do we see this B5001? Only once? Okay, so dash bootstrap stage 1 was it, right? Oh! Late to the stream, but eager to see what's going on here. Happy to have you. I'm curious to know how you found out about the stream. Mr. Generic Bear. Did Philip tell you? Yeah. That's cool. Lost my train of thought a bit in the best way possible. Happy to have you. Bootstrap stage 1 standard environment. Come on, we're looking for the other one. Resolved input hash. Bootstrap stage 1. Oh, is there actually... This situation confuses me. like this one was working. Let's just try with the other hash and see what comes out of that. Okay, but I think I think I'm doing something wrong here. What I would have to do here is I'm thinking, okay, the test thinks it needs to look this thing up. So we should get the name part of it. And I think we can look at the diff as well here. SR, great. Nix is hard, yeah, Nix is hard. SR2, SRD, Bootstrap stage 1, standard environment Linux, okay. So this is correct. Bootstrap stage 1, standard environment Linux. And if we, we're trying to resolve this thing, but I thought I had like more matches here. But was I looking at the output paths? Oh, okay, if I remove the derivation back here, yeah, okay. Good, so there's 2 derivations and we need just the other one. I think that's 76. Oh, notice what we have in here. Like, these are the kind of things where maybe I have to turn my brain on. Okay. Maybe there's a, I was very confused by this situation, but maybe there is a deeper issue with using Lix for this on one side and using Nix on the other, even if Lix is the front end on both, because I know there were some changes that might be relevant. NixOS/Nix. There is a CA, there's a milestone for CA stabilization. This used to have more things. Is it content? How do I find this now? Build trace. Oh, this looks interesting. I can find this, I think. No. How do I find that thing? Oh, it's issues, not pull requests. That's the reason. And we'll see the milestones. Yeah, C8 iteration stabilization. So I was just in the wrong category. And there's something that probably this is closed. Depend. Like we can look for issues that I'm involved in, I think. I think this change, like this happened, reverting this happened, which changes the hashes of resolved derivations, maybe. Not sure. But what is for sure is that these things cannot be considered stable, and so maybe there is some discrepancy between licks and nicks here that I'm running into now. Let's run the large test. Hello derivation resolves to whatever. I don't get this. Huh. This is fine. This is freaking fine. We have like, except for the typo here, but Nix derivate show, like this is the unresolved version of the hello derivation. And we're able to resolve that to this hash, which we can look up in here. And then in the output section of that signature, oh no, this is, this is still the derivation show output. In the actual output part of that signature, we have a hash for it, and like a content addressed path. So what that means is we're actually able to do dependency resolution for the hello derivation. I thought this would be kind of a like yeah, let's celebrate moment, but I don't actually know why this is working. Interesting. Very cool. So this test passes without any modifications. Good. And I don't know what's going on here, but this passes without any modifications. We saw that earlier, and here maybe we need more. Maybe we have issues in the detail, but like resolution seems to be working. Using the data we got out of licks. So we know, yay! Happy to have you here, Generic Bear, as a witness to my greatness. Since we know each other, you know that I'm not like, that I don't actually mean that seriously. Or maybe I do. But this is really good. This is wonderful. okay, so that means the dependency resolution part of the project works, even though the presentation is horrible, in the sense of it took us a bunch of time to figure out that this is actually working, and the pieces seem to be like a bit wobbly. So maybe a good idea is to commit what we have now, so we have like a known good state and don't have to think about that anymore. Yeah, we have the updated signature data in here, and also another bunch of other stuff. Yeah, this is fine. Like I want to know what's in the tests, traces. What is in here? Nothing. Ah, okay, like cached. Okay, this is fine. Usually I don't use this, like I don't usually do this on the command line, but I feel like for the stream it makes sense. Let's not get into it. Like this being different is also very understandable. The test and the verification logic. This makes sense. Makes sense. Config prefix. Yeah, okay, yeah, these changes are good. And source in the verification, this is also good. Like, let's uncomment this for, like, let's comment this out for now. Because we have a good workflow to verify if the test output is correct. We should like turn that into something programmatic. But I have like a bunch of Lego pieces that all really want to fall over in different directions of the universe. The universe doesn't want to be disordered, I think. So let's try to not mess around too much. But we will say re-add this one. So for now it doesn't generate valid output. This should be clear to a reader. And then I think I'll just do an interactive add. Git add -ir. Status. Whoa, is there a bunch of stuff still? No, this is fine. So we can just do that interactively. Yeah, 1 to 6. Why not? Let's see. Yeah, we have to use licks to generate that test data. That's how things are right now. And we have to take care of this distinction for now. Yeah, we should get rid of this. Definitely, we made this more concise. Just yes. And okay, now can I do it? Oh, I can't. I don't want to really. Is there some key that I can use to accept all of these? Git interactive add stage all. Oh, maybe there's a help thing probably, right? If I do AR, question mark, yes. Yeah, all in the file, that's good. This is just is this just the order of things or pre-image index? No, this is just us adding a thing, so let's stage that as well. We figure out what to do with it. This is actually ambiguous. Okay, yeah, that was a typo, and we have to change the hash. No, we don't have to change the hash in the uncommented thing. This didn't change either. Yeah, this didn't change either. Okay, good. So we don't have to take this change, I think. Because this didn't work either way. So we have to look at it again anyways. And now we have really a lot of those changes probably, and we're done. So yeah, update test data. Yeah, we'll squash this, I think. Or should we keep the linear history? Yeah, let's keep the history. It's not too bad. No, never mind. I'm having a hard time deciding these things. Yeah, let's amend. Update test data have to use licks on the to generate DRVs for now, because the JSON format of derivations is not stable between Nix and licks. And yeah, we were okay. Use test. We're gonna say we're updating the test data. Successfully verify hello binary, hello derivation. So we successfully built hello again. Having to use leaks to generate. We can actually let's say resolve the CA version of the hello derivation. This is wonderful. So this is the big milestone that I wanted to reach. We have a commit for it now. Let's push that commit. It will fail CI because reasons, I mean, maybe it will even path CI because the logs are shorter now, and I think the exception that we got in GitHub CI was related to some such limitation, right? If we go here, CI is angry, saying, come on, no. Just show me the, or maybe it's failing for different reasons now. Okay, never mind. Okay, some tests are still failing. So I'm maybe a bit eager to get things pushed right now, but I wanted to preserve this state. Okay, yeah, there's just more tests that depend on specific hashes. This is one of them. Test sign resolved hook. What is going wrong here? Like, the good thing about verification is that as long as you do something sensible in the as long as you do something sensible with data generation, you can't really have successful verification even though you're doing something that's completely nonsensical. You're kind of like, if you're able to verify, then that's good, because those hashes are really colliding. Colliding in the sense of it's like the same inputs. So here there's a test that's failing now. Mock derivation lookup, and what does it say? Assert 1 equals 0, key error. Okay. This test is looking for some version of Bootstrap tools. Okay, where do we actually have to find this? We don't want to, maybe I was looking in the wrong file and I understand now what I did wrong. Let's see, because this is supposed to have an impact, like we're supposed to take the hashes from the hello CA recursive file, because this has the unresolved derivations. Maybe I was looking at the wrong file, and that was the thing I wasn't understanding before. Right? Oh, and there's also hard-coded stuff in here. Yeah, this is even a bit annoying, but as long as you have collisions, because some things have the same name, you kind of have to deal with that a bit. Let's see if this test passes now. Oh, we probably... Like, if somebody knows Python and knows why I'm having such issues with mocking things, that would be great. Oh no, here we need the resolved version, naturally. But in the other place we didn't. Because here we are trying to do signing, and we're signing the resolved thing. If we try to sign the unresolved thing, the system says, dude, there's unresolved dependencies here, I'm not signing this. Which is a very core part of the improvement we're trying to make with this signature scheme. Test verify. Oh, this is the test name. Man, I feel like part of my brain is kind of fried right now. Bootstrap tools is what we're looking at. just one version of that, which is good. This is the hash. This is what we had in there before, I think. So the reason why this test was failing then is not because anything changed about the hashes. It's because something up here is not working anymore, probably. Maybe those reference files have to be updated because of the differences between Nix and Lix. That's unfortunate. But this is also, I think, not the kind of thing that I can do well on stream. And like a bunch of stuff is working, right? Yeah, I mean, 2 tests are failing. I'll have to look into that. There's still a lot to improve, but we hit the big milestone. All right, get a coffee. Have a good coffee. Thank you very much for joining the stream. It was very nice to see you. Take a look. I'm gonna catch up with you in some other channel as well. Thank you very much. Let's see. Bye, generic bear. Okay, so I wanted to do some context setting, right? Verification is now working, which means everything that we still have to do in order to like fulfill the goal that we had for this week is like, I mean, we could just call this a victory and say, yeah, we're done. But if ideally we would also make a bunch of things that are related to this work properly, right? So we should know, oh yeah, we went through verification successfully now. We should output that somehow. We should make sure that the tests actually validate this, because we have like since we went through the process successfully, that we can encode a success. We can encode what a successful test run is supposed to look like in the test in the assertions that we have in the test, so we don't break it anymore. And like ideally what we would want is we would want to be able to invoke laut on the command line and verify the hello binary that way. And we would want the VM tests to go end to end, things like that. But in general, just like present a more complete user experience, because for sure we're not gonna get to SBOM integration this week. We're not gonna get to like the trusted computing stuff or like verification stuff in the sense of trusted computing. I think it's gonna be more work. Like probably it's not feasible to get the data log fixed, we can look into that. But it's probably we're probably not going to get the data log fixed. We can look into that though. But just presenting like an end-to-end experience where you can actually verify the hello binary as a user of this thing. And not yet with configurable trust models, because we need to figure that out, but with some fixed trust model, or by just stating, oh, we're not doing signature verification yet. Something simple that presents like an end-to-end experience. Oh, but this is good. I think what we should do is take a break, because I feel really fried, and I'm at the same time really happy that we were able to achieve what we achieved. There's a lot of open questions, so yeah, there's going to be a break. And I'm gonna return in 15 minutes, and we're gonna figure it out then. Because yeah, I wanna still continue to stream for a bit, because I said I would stream for a bit longer. Yeah, let's take a break and figure out where we go from there. Maybe I'll just also end the stream early. We will figure it out. All right, let's make it a 15-minute break. Come on. Refresh the thing. Oh, I didn't unmute myself properly. Luckily, I caught that earlier than in that one stream. So I think I was looking maybe at the wrong version of this file, because I got it from the store or something. Because if I look at those tests here, I need to get the unresolved thing, so I get to hello CA recursive. Should rename that somehow, so we know that the unresolved stuff is in here. If I'm saying that, I should probably actually do it. Make it easier to understand the project, for people to understand the project, right? Hello CA recursive. I mean, it's clear that yeah, let's just add an unresolved in the end. And for the input addressed version of the file, oh man, you see what I did there? I was actually moving the unresolved one earlier. Yeah, this looks good now. And so now I just have to replace that name everywhere it occurs. Like a lot of those mocks for the tests are written really stupidly, but so far it was good enough. I think that's fine. But now to the main event, or where I was before. I think I was just in some wrong version of this file, maybe some older version. Okay, yeah, this is the wrong thing for sure. I have to go in here. Was I just in the wrong file? I mean, it's possible, right? I've been known to, like, I'm not the guy who's good at keeping tracks of details, so I'm obsessively working on systems that keep track of details to obsessive degrees, or maybe like to the proper degree. P3 and BSW. There's again different ones here, but mostly we see the P3 one. So maybe we can just, I'll just take the hash. Maybe this fixes that one test. Let's comment this out for now. And like another thing that the voice in my hello C recursive. Oh, there's another occurrence. Find in files, hello C recursive. Why do I not see this in here? Okay, this. Okay, because I also have to look for the. Oh well. Good. What do you mean, my friend? Okay, because this one occurs here. Probably also move this to a different folder. Maybe I should do that now. But it's difficult because there's some things that I think are really easy to do on stream, some things that are really difficult. And like if I have to like take the time to really think about something like, oh, how do I name this? It makes me feel awkward on stream. Do not fill the time. Yeah, this is working now. Good. Good. Another one working. So where do we stand now? File not found for the large one. I mean, another thing one could do is properly design those tests in a way where we get rid of like this shared logic, like it shouldn't be difficult. It's probably very easy to just get rid of this duplication. What is this? CLI sign assertion error on the exit code. And then afterwards it says getting output hash for. Okay, I think I know what. Like this rings a bell at least. What was the name? Test sign resolved hook. Test sign. Like previously I had something like this in here. Yeah, let's make this test work properly. We should take the time to do that. And we already made dependency resolution work, so just spending some time cleaning up and making the code base better is probably better. Anyways, I feel like my brain, that's what my brain's good for right now, so. Meaning I feel spent. Okay, we're on the signing side, so we have to look at the reference data here. I should really fix this structure even further. And there's outputs in here, but not output hashes, I think. No, there is. Good. So this is what should be in that test then. Our paths should be this. Actually, we can add a to-do. Add a test with more than for a derivation with more than one output. We could just look one up. Does this make the test happy? Yes, test is happy again. Good. So how far are we? Okay, verification for hello takes quite a long time. So maybe we can do some performance optimization. But like these tests are passing now, which is good. So I could either now commit this or do some further rearranging of files here, like moving this to the like we could have a folder traces and then just examples, and this has that stuff. We could have a folder called unresolved and put those two files in here, and then have a folder resolved by name, resolved by input hash. And that seems like it would help me find things easier. Like it would make it easier to find things. Yeah, let's do that. So we want tests, traces, is traces even a good name? I mean, it is the kind of data we're dealing with. trace data maybe. But that's just like more work in renaming. Yeah, but let's do that now. Tests data, because I showed a bunch of skipping over things in previous streams. Let's show some tidying up. Trace data. Let's say unresolved. These are traces of unresolved derivations then. Like, are these traces? Like, is the yes, let's call this. Like, the terms are a bit tricky because what a trace is kind of mapping some resolved input hash to some output. And so using that term for unresolved derivations is actually kind of bad. Maybe. This has nothing to do, like, this is just the unresolved stuff, right? Like unresolved, if we would call this an unresolved trace, unresolved traces would be something that's untrustworthy, like, because it covers dependency resolution, and dependency resolution is something we don't want to have in there, because it adds like a transitive dependency on how the builder resolves things, which is something we want to get rid of conceptually. But what do we actually call those? Like, the regular signatures in Nix are kind of like, you could view them as a trace from the unresolved derivation hashes to the output, but they also they don't do things on a derivation level but on an output level. And we could just call this unresolved input. Or unresolved DRVs. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Trace data. We're gonna actually rename that again, call it data again. We could now just commit this and say, hey, the tests are working now. Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll do the moving. Because like the reason why I didn't want that is because I already changed all of the places. Like I already know all the places where I have to change paths, but this is trivial to find out. So let's not bother. Fine. Let's just keep this renaming, that's fine. Fix Python tests. We don't have anything else laying around, so let's just push this. And then now we do the moving. We're not going to call this unresolved, we're going to call it input derivations. Hello CA recursive unresolved. It's going to go into input derivations. Hello is descriptive, CA is descriptive. Recursive is not so recursive is just because it's the output of Nix derivation. So we can get, should we keep the unresolved? Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of redundancy. I think that's probably fine. Good, and this CLI sign thing. This is descriptive because that's the tests that this is in right now, but I think we should call those examples. Example DRVs. Are they resolved or are they unresolved? Oh, since it's the signing part, it should be resolved. It should be resolved, right? So let's see. Oh no, it's both. Yeah, and it's just example derivations. They're all derivations. So we'll call this CLI sign example DRVs. So the difference between example and input is like maybe not that great, but this is good enough. I think it's better. And then what we have in traces here, the signatures folder, this should go into data. Let's say our signatures, or should we just say signatures? We don't have any other signatures, right? Signatures. But we might have signatures that use different hashes. Let's not be that preemptive. Let's say we do this. And then traces, what else do we have? Yeah, by whatever. Yeah, maybe it should be in the data and traces folder, because that way we have a clear distinction. And then we have data signatures goes into data traces signatures. And data by, no, traces by name is data traces by name. Sounds good. Source directory is empty. By resolved input hash to by I realize I can't just do the file because then the folder doesn't exist and it complains about that, I guess. And so we have to do data slash traces by resolved input hash. This works. So what's left in the traces directory now? This consolidate thing. Oh, by name is here, so source directory is empty. I don't get this. I don't really get this. Data traces by name. Tests traces. I don't consolidate. Traces consolidate. Data traces. This is where we want to move that. All right. Git move traces by name. What is going on here? Why does it autocomplete to the other thing? Maybe autocomplete is just broken. We have to ignore it. data traces by name. I even created that folder, I feel. File exists, yeah. All of the signatures are renamed. Git, I don't get you. Why is traces untracked? Is the by name thing not committed? Dear Lord. I was so sure that I had committed this. Well, not having that committed is another kind of stupid. But I think this is the move. These are the moves that we want to make. And if I... Yeah, okay, it doesn't discover tests now. Never mind, come on. 7 tests failing, great. Let's fix things. Let's just go through all of the test files and fix all of the paths. Go to the parent and we say data. Example DRVs. No, this is not it. Data input DRVs. This is good. Data input DRVs, and then we're golden. So that cleans the project up quite a bit, I think. I mean, the next thing is actually just pulling that out rate. Let's do that. Let's call it input address data file. And nobody really messes with it, so should be fine if we do something like this. This is also the input address data file. And this is the CA one. Oh, haha. Traces is untracked. Thank you very much for the hint. I only saw it just now, but hello, Picnoir. I think that's how you say that name, right? Happy to have you here. I'm really doing some quite boring stuff now, but I managed earlier to get the resolution working for, get dependency resolution working for the hello binary, which is a big milestone for the overall project. This looks good now. Yeah, we don't need to do anything here. This is only used once, and it's now called data input DRVs. Nice. Yeah, it's really like this was really tough to get. I thought that I would get to that point of like I thought in January that I would get there. I actually kind of thought in January, oh, now this is working, but I just I had just really messed up some of the basic building blocks in a way where I was just using regular unresolved derivations for the verification instead of the resolved ones. And of course that's easy, right? So I got things to line up even though they shouldn't have. But now finally, like months later, I'm getting to this milestone. All right. I think we're through with this. Let's just, this looks fine. This is also unrelated to any paths, as is this. And then here we have like the remainder of the things we have to change. So we have like this traces resolved by resolved input hash. I think we have the same signature file everywhere, right? In 2 places. Oh, because this is just the mock, so this is fine. Tests, and then this is in the data directory now. Data, and it's called, yeah, traces by resolved. Yeah, this should be fine. Good. Tests, data, and this is input DRVs. And here this we have this multiple times, so we'll just pull this out again. But I think it's fine if we call it just data file, because we don't have any. Maybe we'll add the CA in case more tests go in here later on, but this is good. Can remove this. And then actually, like, we did some cleanup, which is good. Okay, things are still failing. Sign resolved hook. Test CLI sign. Like I didn't move the keys. What did we change here? Data input DRVs, that should be fine. Which test specifically is failing here? Test sign resolved hook. Yeah, let's just invoke that test by itself. These paths should be fine. We didn't change the location of the test like we didn't change the location of the test file, so this should be still fine. Yeah, let's go through this slowly. This should be fine. What mocks does it depend on? Mock derivation lookup. Mock derivation lookup depends on this function, which uses this path, and it takes goes to data input derivations. It seems fine. And those things should be staged as well, right? If I go yes, hello IA recur. Those are in here. Oh, but it's an extra step of indirection. Did I read that correctly now? Oh, no, ha ha ha. Those are the example DRVs. Because here we just have tests for 4 specific files, and the input DRVs folder is for actually the when we're testing whole trees of derivations. So maybe input derivation trees might be a better name. This is working now. What else is still failing? 2 failed tests. Yeah, the small and the large verification test. Like, these are the ones I finally managed to get to work. Data input derivations, that looks good. I pulled this up here. Of course, I gotta get rid of this, right? Is it the same thing? Sure. Test data traces. Yeah, the signature file. Did we? Okay, no. This we said only occurs once. And here we have another instance of the other thing. This looks good now. Okay. Yeah, I think the directory structure is better now. And like the verification of the test derivation, like the verification of the hello derivation. I shouldn't say verification, it's just dependency resolution. It takes a bit of time. But I think this is something we can improve. Probably most of the time is spent in logging or something stupid like that. Yeah, let's... This is good. This is good. This is good. Improve directory structure. For test data. This should be fine. And now let's look at what CI is doing right now. So this is failing at the moment with, okay, yeah, this is not relevant. I think we should have fixed those issues now. Fix Python, no, why is this still failing? Let's see. Why is the package one still failing? Okay, just this assertion is failing in the test sign resolved hook test, and I think this is passing locally. Because we just looked at that, right? Yeah, we will see if it succeeds in the next test run. But in general, there's two issues that I have in terms of CI right now. One of them is, or we have in terms of CI right now, one of them is that I don't understand how mocking in Python works well enough to make things actually work well. And so I'm running into a bunch of issues where I have some tests even skipped in CI because I can't get the mocks to work. And like I thought for some time that they were working outside of the sandbox if I invoked them directly, but I didn't. I just don't understand that issue. And the other thing is that even if we don't run into this, we run into some storage problem. But I gotta find some representative run for that. I think this was generally like we were having like 4-minute runs. Let's look at this maybe. Where it says no space left on device for the worker log. And I assume this is just me printing too much to the console or something like that, right? Like that would make my checks job fail. But I haven't really found any good information on that issue. Like it wasn't something that's easily Googleable. So I don't know. Like GitHub Actions as a CI platform, I so far I don't like it. I haven't used it a lot. I've just like started using it for this project. Haven't used it before. And I'm not impressed. Yeah, but I think in general this is a good stopping point because locally we were able to verify, okay, the tests are working again. Like what I want to do now is I want to kind of give some context for those people who haven't heard earlier. Sad that the stream is over. Or what's sad? I don't know exactly how much delay I have on here. GitHub Action, small space for the logs. Oh yeah, I think that's what that is, but I'm not sure. And like Serge helped me set this up at Ocean Sprint, and I'm so thankful. But I'm really a very incompetent user of this stuff. So if something breaks, I gotta get into the weeds of something that I actually don't know, right? Yeah. but I think I can like me or somebody can like it's a solvable thing. If anybody wants to contribute, I'm looking for contributors. Let's see what's happening on the file system. Maybe try running df.h on exception. Can I do that on the GitHub action level? Is that something that GitHub Actions provides? Like I assume you can just run arbitrary stuff, right? So the curious to hear about this. Coming from a Python. Oh no, this is very much. Do I still have it open? This very much looks like. Is it the correct one? This very much looks like Java to me. I was assuming this is Java because I did a bunch of Java coding. And it just screams Java to me. Maybe I'm wrong, because I think GitHub is implemented in Go, right? I'm not sure. But no, this is not my code. But thanks for the suggestion anyways. All right. Yeah, so we are able to do dependency resolution now. We don't use the same hashes as like we do dependency resolution from like the input address, the input hash that Nix uses for input address derivations, like the hash based on unresolved dependencies down to the resolved one. We're doing that for content address derivations, but we're doing it based on a different hash than actual content address derivations do it, because we're doing it on the JSON format and not on the A-term format of the derivation. And this already bit us today because this format is not stable between Nix and Lix, which was kind of something that I could have anticipated, but like didn't really plan for, let's say. Yeah, I didn't really plan for that, but it's fine. Conceptually, we could just switch to the A-term format and it would maybe be a good idea. We will see if we do that, but this is just like one of the things that we could continue with. I think overall the plan for the last day tomorrow is to try to turn, okay, now dependency resolution works into, yeah, like a usable thing that's user-facing, or like or extending the scope of the VM tests to do verification properly now. We won't have like configurable trust models, but this wasn't the goal. The goal was to get verification work, like get dependency resolution working and like a few extra bits so that you can say, oh yeah, we can do verification to some degree. We'll see if we get to signatures. I plan to do a longer stream tomorrow because I have more time tomorrow. And like, I'm really happy with how today went and how the week went. I'm really happy about the people joining the stream today, interacting. This is a lot of fun. Like the reason why I'm doing this is I had a lot of fun working with people and next to people who care about these issues, and I wanted to continue this on the stream. Like if you want to talk about this stuff, just send me a message. If you want to contribute, I'm really happy. There's a lot of independent work streams in this project. It's a project with a large scope, but in general, I'm just happy to chat, and yeah, thanks for joining the stream. I think this is it for today. Have a good rest of your day, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you.